What up, AOK Mafia? It's your boy Artofkickz, and just like that, we back with another one. Alright, y'all, so we got a story here. I'm not exactly sure what this story is, but I think it might be an interesting one. This story is called The Case of Grace Millane. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. We're about to check it out. Like I said, y'all, I have no idea what this is about to be. But hey, let's find out together. Y'all boys guys ready? I'm ready. Let's go!
This is a story which took place in 2018 in the city of Auckland. Grace Millane was a backpacker all the way from England, who was planning on spending a couple of weeks traveling, chilling with the Kiwis.
England.
While she was there, she went on the Tinder. And well, that's where our story begins, which it will do right now. Right now.
What was that about?
So, like Grace, we will start off in the United Kingdom before travelling all the way down under. Let's begin in Brentwood, a town in Essex, don't you know? I didn't. Grace Emmy Rose Millane was born in December 1996 to parents Gillian and David. She was the youngest of three with two older brothers.
She looked just like her mom. Her brothers too. God, they look like their mom.
Music, Grace was a fan. Hockey, yes sirree, Bob. Grace was, the outgoing, gregarious type of person. I mean, the type you'd want to be to, backpack across the southern hemisphere. After she finished up her schooling days, she attended the University of Lincoln, enrolling in advertising and marketing, and getting it. The degree was in the bag, September 2018. She, long dreamed of traveling the world after finishing and getting up her degree, before she has to, get the job, get the mortgage, the everyday grind. She was taking a gap year. She wanted to experience, and she made it happen. It was to South America she would go, leaving her home for the last time on October 26th, 2018. From Heathrow Airport, she boarded a plane bound for Peru, traveling around there, hanging with the llamas. They're class. After spending a few weeks there, experiencing what it has to offer and meeting other travelers from across the globe, she then left for Aotearoa, butchered that no doubt, on November 19th. From there, she spent the next 10 days traveling the North Island.
I gotta say, because we live in this time where social media is such a big part of a lot of people's life, we get to see all of this as it's getting ready to unfold here. We get to see pictures and images and videos of her going on this journey. You go back to her Instagram and this stuff is probably saved in, what is it called? The part of the story where you can kind of save your story. I've never done it. I should do it. But this is probably where they're able to get, stories from. And this is 2018. Wow, time is flying.
Visiting such sites as Cape Reinga and the Bay of Islands. Seeing what honestly looks like, the most beautiful country in the world has to offer. The North Island of it, anyway. And I mean, come on, if the greatest trilogy ever made didn't sell you on it, I don't know what will. Do you think New Zealanders, hate Lord of the Rings? Because it kind of gets brought up all the time when you talk about New Zealand. Let me know in the comments. It was on November 30th that Grace arrived in Auckland, the biggest city in New Zealand. Grace was 22 years old. Her birthday was on December the 2nd, but she wouldn't make it.
She just graduated college. What happened to this girl?
In Auckland, Grace was staying at a hostel, the base backpackers, right? And while she was there, she clicked download on the old Tinder, and then she disappeared. See, the last time she was seen, heard from, was her roommates on the 1st of December. That was kind of it. The next day, it was a Sunday, December 2nd, it was her birthday, her family, friends were happy birthday, all that sort of crack, and then when she wasn't responding, well, the silence was deafening. That's when the family started to become Concerned, they gave it another couple of days, and on the 5th of December, they reported Grace Millane missing to the Auckland police. She hadn't updated any of her social media profiles. Her family hadn't spoken to her since she arrived in New Zealand, and she had 2 phones that both went straight to voicemail. When she was in Peru...
She had 2 phones? Y'all, look, I'm in my dating stage right now, really, and man, this is scary. Like, you know, obviously it's a lot scarier for women, but stuff can happen to men too, as we've seen here on this channel. We've talked about it. We've seen the videos. But, man, like, I got a Tinder date in 2 days. It's going to be my first one. I'm bringing my knife. I got a long one. It's one of them almost butterfly, but it don't butterfly. I'm bringing it. It's going to be clipped on me.
She'd been part of a group.
You never know. It could set you up. A pretty face could set you up for something crazy. So, y'all wish me luck.
But went straight to voicemail. When she was in Peru, she'd been part of a group. In Auckland, she was going solo.
That's scary.
We begin tonight with a public appeal for missing British backpacker Grace Millane. A short time ago, police held a press conference to appeal for sightings of the 22-year-old who has not been seen since 7:15 p.m. on Saturday night.
It's so crazy to think this woman is going to travel and end up getting on this dating app, and the one person she does meet up with, something can happen to her. Man.
She was last seen on the 1st of December, that was Saturday.
Grace's dad, David, promptly flew out to New Zealand to try and find her.
I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to anybody who has seen, spoken to, or come into contact with Grace over the last few days.
This stuff scares me, man.
Come forward with any detail, no matter how small, and contact the investigation team. Once again, I thank you all for coming.
This is crazy.
And so, you know, the police having a goo around the place, that's what led them to this.
The police investigation today has concentrated around her movements and activities in Auckland since she's arrived in New Zealand. A large part of that focus has been around CCTV footage throughout Auckland.
This being CCTV, right? So the hostel said, you know, she never returned when she went out that evening of December the 1st, right? And the CCTV showed she never came back that night. So instead, Auckland is actually they got CCTV everywhere, it seems. So where did she go? They could fairly straightforwardly track her movements the night she disappeared and who she went and met with.
Is it this guy?
She left the hostel at 5:37 p.m.
She was with the group when she was in Peru. When she got out here, she was by herself. See, I've always been afraid. I've never been out the country. I want to, but I've always been afraid to travel out of the country by myself, because you don't know anything. You don't know where you're going, what you're doing, really. And when you're a foreigner, you're kind of a target, because they know. They can pick up on it pretty quick if you don't know what you're doing or where you're going or where you are. Man, this is... And then she wanted to get on Tinder. I'm not. If I'm in another country by myself, there's no way. There's no way. I'm like, look, if I don't meet a girl in person and try to talk to her, I'm not about to do it off a dating app. That's for sure.
That's Grace with the white shoes. From there, she walked to Sky City, just around the corner. Sky City is like a casino kind of type thing. We can go there for a few scoops if you want. And it was there, just outside Sky City, at 5:45 p.m. that she got a big ol' hug from Mr. Blueshirt.
That's crazy. We got all this footage to piece this stuff together so we can really see what's happening here. This is amazing.
That was her date for the night. They had met on Tinder.
Dang,
they went into Sky City, had a few drinks for about an hour and a half, before heading off to a Mexican cafe, which was just around the corner. There, a few more scoops, drop of tequila, then they continued their bar hopping, going to the Bluestone Room, again, just around the corner. There they had a few snugs. When this fella left to go to the bathroom, Grace picked up her phone and texted a friend back in England, saying that she clicked with this guy real well. They left together at 9:40, walking arm in arm. Where they went to was this guy's apartment at City Life Hotel. And that was it. It didn't take long for the police to track down this bozo. His name is Jesse Kempson. 26 years old at the time, a native Wellington guy, native Welly. Now Jesse, he was a fierce fella he would hole you with lies, right? He had terminal cancer. His parents were dead. He was adopted by very rich people. He was a CIA agent. His cousin played for the All Blacks. He would come up with whatever shit he felt he needed to come up with to make himself not seem like the loser he was. He would just invent shit like, why not? The reality of Jesse Kempson is much more mundane.
This is crazy.
He was born in Wellington in 1992. His parents separated when he was 9, and his mother left the country. He worked as a labourer and bartender, and the bullshitting he was fierce for wasn't only for strangers. It was for his family too, who eventually gave him the boot because of that. He then moved to Australia for 3 years. What Jesse did when he returned to New Zealand isn't entirely clear, but his last job was working in phone sales, right? And he'd get fired the day he met Grace for, guess what? Lying. But he did post this on Facebook, apologizing to his family and friends for, being a shit. Wait till you hear this. My clear arrogance and selfishness has truly affected the relationship I have with people in my personal life. How's that for an accent? Come on! Never again. When we grow up, we make mistakes. That's how we improve. In the exam of life, Jesus. You can't retest yourself with the same question paper. But with that being said, we can change how we treat each other, and over time I've learned that every action has a reaction. Putting all of that aside, I just want anyone who I've hurt/let down to know I'm truly sorry from the bottom of my heart. So essentially, he posted on Facebook saying, here, listen, I know I've been a bit of a dickhead. Sorry about that. He would then go on to do something worse than he ever had done before. So your apology was another fucking lie. But at the time, when he was asked by the police, where's Grace? Last we saw, she was in your apartment building.
Right.
With you. No idea what happened to her. Did he hurt her? No way, Jose. When interviewed on the 5th of December, he did nothing.
How did the evening pan out?
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't initially know that she was real.
They blurred him and didn't unblur them. So we saw him and now we don't. We saw him. We saw what he looked like. We had pictures of him and everything. Like, I don't even know what to think right now.
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't initially know that she was real.
What?
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of... So have you heard of catfish?
No.
So catfishing is where...
None of that what you saying right now matters, dog. You met up with this girl. You saw that she was real when you saw her in person. That story you about to tell is irrelevant. Shut your mouth. Don't even tell that story. Proceed with saying where the heck she at. That's what we want to know. Ain't nobody got time for this bull.
Someone uses your profile, uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets, and you're a completely different person. Right. And it's happened to a few people I know in Australia. And it's all over the TV. So I thought, if I meet at Sky City at least I know that there's lots of people around, so if it is someone that it's not, then I can just walk away.
How did the evening sort of come to an end?
There was a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and a thanks, nice meeting you. And then I said, let me know about tomorrow. And she said, okay. And then she kept walking.
He know you lying. There's video footage of your butt going in your apartment building with her. Liar. He's just a compulsive liar. I've met people like him before.
So Grace was never seen leaving his apartment.
No.
But he sure was.
Yeah.
Quite a few times. What did he do, I wonder, after Grace entered his apartment? Well, it's pretty unsurprising. If you're a killer.
The other thing I wanted to say too, I've told y'all this before. A lot of times with these killers, unfortunately, they have a way with their mouth. They're really good at making it seem like they're normal. They're really good at talking to women, at least for the ones that are men that are seeking women that they commit these heinous crimes upon. They're really good at talking to women. And it baffles me how they use that ability that a lot of normal men lack, which is the ability to talk to women. They use that ability for such horrible crimes. Shoo.
The next morning, that's on the 2nd of December, he went down and bought a suitcase.
This fool.
Then he went and bought cleaning supplies.
Of course he did.
After they were both back in his apartment, he got a taxi to a car rental place. Then, at about 4 p.m., he went on another Tinder date. Had a few sups with this lady. She wasn't a fan of him. She got creeps. No look there, Jesse. Sorry. She was so uncomfortable, in fact, that when she realized she would have to walk with him to where her car was parked, she just made up her, oh, my car's parked elsewhere. Yeah, sorry. This was probably because during that date, Jesse was yapping away with her about a few things. One of those things he told her was that his friends were cops, and they were searching for a body in the Waitakere Mountains, which are just outside Auckland. And he also told her, hey, fun fact, did you know that police dogs, they can't find the scent of a body if the body is buried more than 4 feet?
That makes perfect sense. He was so caught up in what he had done the night before that he's on this date and he's making himself look very suspicious. And he's making this woman very uncomfortable. And she's like weirded out and creeped out by him. Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. This is crazy. But I'm loving the fact that we got all this surveillance footage so that we can see this stuff unfold. This is wild. 2018 was that year.
After the womp womp failed date, Jesse borrowed a Rogue Doctor carpet cleaning machine.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Then he loaded 2 suitcases onto a hotel trolley and put them in the rented car. The next morning, before 7 a.m., he went off and bought a shovel. And then he drove off.
This man. This is crazy.
He returned to his apartment at 9:30, went to the dry cleaners, dumped rubbish bags, and washed the car. We next see him on the 5th of December, dumping more items. And it was that day the police caught up with him.
Uh-oh.
We actually don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well.
Okay.
But she might also be dead. Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Why did he do it, though? Why did he do it?
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Am I being arrested for something I didn't do?
You haven't been arrested.
Oh. Oh. Oh, it's like... Holy shit. Okay.
Why this man? Clearly he did it. Don't give me that BS. He did it. Why?
After that interview on the 5th, the police chucked him out of his apartment and investigated it using luminol. There, they discovered the presence of blood on the carpets. Jesse was interviewed again on the 7th of December. This time, he had another story.
You've indicated that you're willing to speak to us about the events of last Saturday. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me what happened last Saturday.
From the beginning?
He said that when, they went back to his place at City Life, him and Grace started getting into it. And she asked him if he liked bondage.
She started talking to me about 50 Shades of Grey, which is a
They're doing it again. They're blurring him when we already done seen this man like 50, 11 times.
sex fantasy movie that's out. We started having sex. At first it was just normal. It was very placid. And then she asked me if we could get into bondage.
He said, never tried it before, here I'm a pretty innocent guy,
I feel like that is major cap. What girl in her right mind is going to want to try bondage, as dangerous as bondage can be, try bondage with a guy she just met off of Tinder? Well, I mean, clearly she wanted to get laid that night, or else she wouldn't have got on Tinder. That works for some folks, man. That don't work for me. Look, this is about to be the first Tinder date that I've ever had in like the past 8 years of using Tinder, maybe longer.
He told the police that Grace, she asked him to choke her. They took some pictures of each other, and then he went and had a shower, and he fell asleep, under the running water. As you do,
And then all I remember...
My former roommate does. Every time he goes out and get drunk, he lays in the shower and let the water run on him, and he just sleeps in there for hours with running water. Horrible, horrible person.
He's falling asleep in the shower.
Then, when he awoke the next morning, he found Grace lying dead on the floor.
I need to stop. I need to go.
Would you like some fresh air?
Yeah, please. I was in shock. I didn't know what to do. I went downstairs and I was just... I don't know, I was all over the place. I didn't believe what had happened. I was just terrified and scared. I thought that she had gone. I thought she had left.
Pathologist, the specialist doctor, will perform a post-mortem.
Yeah.
They're very skilled at establishing people's causes of death. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Did you kill Grace Millane? Okay. You're under arrest for the murder of Grace Millane on or about the 2nd of December. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
He panicked, and, well, you know the rest from the CCTV. Weird, though, that he says he was panicked, because he looks cool as a cucumber in the video.
Yeah, exactly. He looks so chill and relaxed in every video footage of him going out and getting the supplies he need. Dude, he did this on purpose, but why?
He said he buried her in the bush. This is like the story of Christopher Garnier, all over again, where, he blames the victim. She asked me to do it, She asked you to do what, kill her? Because, I mean, they searched his phone records and his phone, search history and all that, and they found different to what he was saying. At 1:30 a.m., so we can assume this is after she was killed, he searched for the Waitakere Ranges. You know, he was looking for don't think she'd be found there. He also Googled hottest fire. After that, he took pictures of what appeared to be her body, followed by looking at porn. Over the next couple of days, he Googled her name multiple times to see what was in the news about her. Grace's body was found on the 8th of December, after spotting what looked like freshly dug soil and broken branches just off the road. This was confirmed when Jesse led them there.
In a suitcase.
She had been buried for 6 days by this point. Her body he had essentially forced her body into a suitcase after she had been strangled to death. Bruises were found on her shoulders and arms, like she had been restrained. So she lay there in his apartment all night. The next morning, as he went out, got the suitcases, got the cleaning supplies.
All this.
She lay in his apartment while he went on another Tinder date. Then he covertly smuggled her out of the building into the rental car, buried her, and then tried to clean up.
That's crazy.
Today I would like to start
God.
with a comment on the murder of Grace Millane, having received a number of media queries about this tragedy. Firstly, I cannot imagine the grief of her family and what they will be experiencing and feeling right now. And my thoughts and prayers are with her father, David, who is in the country, her mother, Gillian, who cannot be here, and her wider family, friends, and loved ones. You know, from the Kiwis I have spoken to, there is this overwhelming sense of hurt and shame that this has happened in our country, a place that prides itself on our hospitality, on our manaakitanga, especially to those who are visiting our shores. And so, on behalf of New Zealand, I want to apologise to Grace's family.
I'm imagining if that was my daughter, how I would feel, what emotions would be going through my head, what actions would I want to be taken, / which actions I myself would want to take if that was my child. Don't play with mine.
Your daughter should have been safe here, and she wasn't, and I'm sorry for that. I've advised the family through the police that if there is anything we can do to assist, we are here to help with that.
Jesse pled not guilty. The defense would go with what you know they will go with. It was a tragic, accident. Grace, she was into bondage. She asked him to choke her, and it went horribly wrong. They would say, Jesse panicked. He didn't know what to do. He messed up, but he's the real victim here. Come on, yeah. For someone who panicked, he had a pretty unpanicky reaction to her death. He could have, called the emergency services, told them it was an accident, but he didn't. Instead, he, slapped a ham. During the trial, 3 women came forward, telling of their experiences of meeting Jesse on Tinder. He did indeed like the rough stuff, and that's also where a lot of those lies were first heard. He would bullshit them all, and he would assault them too. He would in fact be accused of sexual assault a number of times.
Wow.
The trial for the murder of Grace Millane began in November 2019. It lasted 3 weeks. After 5 hours of deliberation, Jesse was found guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison, no parole, for a minimum of 17 years.
Wow. No parole for a minimum of 17 years, but sentenced to life in prison. Wow.
Now, obviously, you saw there, the video that Jesse's face was blurred in a lot of the footage. That's because his name, his identity was only released relatively recently at the end of 2020. Till then, he was just, Grace Millane's murderer, killer. There was a name suppression order sought successfully by the defense in order to guarantee his right to a fair trial. So his name couldn't be published. In New Zealand, that is. His name was released in December 2020, when it was also revealed he had been convicted of 9 other charges, including rape, sexual assault, sexual violence, threatening to kill, among others.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, why, dude? Why? You come off as a sensible dude, a likable dude. You're able to attract all these women, and then this is what you do? Put him under the jail. We don't need him no more. Put him under the jail.
These were against 2 other women.
You're so full of You have no reason to convict me. You're full of
Grace's father, David, he died a month before Jesse would face further convictions.
What? Why?
He died from cancer.
Oh no, he died from cancer.
Jesse appealed.
And probably with a broken heart too. Poor dude. Man. That family. Oh my God, that poor family. The mom, the brother.
His sentence in 2020. Boom, got denied. The, beautiful spirit of Grace is remembered. Grace's family, they set up a foundation, Love Grace, in remembrance and honor of her memory.
She didn't deserve that at all. She didn't deserve that.
It helps victims of domestic abuse by asking people to donate handbags filled with items for women in need. And that's the end of that one. During the trial, there's quite a bit of controversy, as it seemed like Grace was on trial and her sexual life were on trial rather than, the guy who fucking killed her.
That's all the way messed up. All the way messed up. Oh, man. That makes 0 sense at all.
But either way, this sack of shit is behind bars for a bit. Especially when others came forward saying he was a monster.
Good.
So there.
Good.
A psychologist found he'd probably do it again. So if there's like a key or whatever, you should...
He looked like he would.
Throw it away. This idea.
Yeah, literally. Put him under the jail. Put him under the jail. Wow. That was heavy. Y'all know what time it is. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button for your boy. Stay tuned for more. As always, the link to the original will be down in the description box below. If you haven't already, make sure you follow your boy on the gram and Twitter at Artofkickz. We back, baby. We back. To the next one.